days are speeding by. I feel the rush of time calling in a new day. My eyes are wide open. The path that I've chosen is cutting right through the gray. Racing along the sky, I know I can't deny stormy clouds on their way. The road's calling to me and sparks something through me to set out and find my way. In me, I can see my destiny. It shines like the sun. This journey has only just begun. Running on and making regret. I'm moving forward, but I'll never forget the dark before the dawn. As embers die, I'll keep moving on. Though I know one day I'll stumble and fall, I'll take heart knowing that I'll get through it all. And like the wind, I'll fly. I'll blast off through the sunset to a starry sky. Just like a reverie for all the memories that have dared to remain. The wind is an echo from when I could let go and run in the summer rain. It wasn't long ago I stepped out from the snow and saw the flowers in bloom. And through all the weather, the wind is my tether, and still I can hear its tune. In me, I can see my destiny. It shines like the sun.
Hello there. Alright, so I have stories up, excellent. Desktop is not showing anything for audio. Okay, there it is. Excellent. Alright, and let me just stop this. And let's just mute the line in just to be sure. Alright. Because I've just shut it off. Should now be stopped. I do have a 10-second delay. In fact, let me make sure. Okay, so my microphone seems to be showing through. Should now be game audio from, me saying this. And the line in is muted and also disconnected from my tablet. Thanks, stream delay. Yeah, I do have it on normal delay, so it is 10 seconds delay, and then I've also set a render and listen delay of 400 milliseconds. Just compatibility reasons for if I were to ever use my Switch. So I just add in my capture card and it's good to go. Of course, that means that everything else has to be delayed by 400 milliseconds, but whatever. Alright, so let's view our stories. We have done story 2, What Friends Are For. We've done stories 7 and 8, Leonardo, Newcomb, and The Missing Ingredient. And by the looks of it, the 7 and 8 are truths for Zenobia still has feelings for Leonardo, and number 2 is that Lupino is a traitor. In fact, let me just go over the stories real quick. We can see what paths we took. So for What Friends Are For, Lupino being the traitor, we have done Find the Gem, Find Zenobia, Spare Zenobia, and Throw Away the Gem. For stories 7 and 8, we found the armature, found the core, attacked the outpost, and met the council, followed by Find the armature, find Zenobia, meet the scientists, and meet Zenobia again. No game audio. I should be getting something from desktop. Yeah, it's apparently showing that I do have audio from my desktop, but it's a little bit quieter than I would expect, actually. Especially when I Alt-Tab out. Properties. This should be the Maildeck audio. Apparently that's the only audio device. What if I take a look at my mixer? Volume seems to be 100% all around. Is there really no audio whatsoever? It is showing from my audio mixer and... Okay, so it is there. Alright. And it's gone. I did do a number of Alt-Tabs which may have done it. So as long as I have stories in focus, it should be there. A faint music, huh? Here's my volume wheel. Here it is. Okay, my sound should be at 100%. And I guess it is just quiet here. I'll give you that, it is quiet, because even if it is showing up in OBS, it's really, really near the non-existent. It'll probably change when I get into the game. So we met Zenobia again. That would actually be all the stories. Let's go back to the main menu. Options. Yeah, let's try that. That is showing through a lot better on OBS. might be a little bit on the loud side, so I'll just keep it down about there. And assume that this is not going to be too loud when it comes to cutscenes. Alright, so we're gonna hit continue game. You don't want to hit new game, because that will actually reset all your progress. So
the clouds
continue
parted
game.
over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor.
Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert, as tempting as it was to explore ancient mysteries. There was a war going on, and also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
What an interesting statement there. Anyways, that being said, you have that little exclamation mark to note that you have not actually chosen that path before, or at least that segment. We have tried to build the Sky Ripper and we have found the temple before, but we have not actually ever gone after Lapino. And that being said, real quick, let me just have dice out for an example. Not really good, but I have... Oh, you can actually see that. Alright. So my tablet has rolled a d6. Divide that by half to make it a d3, but amazingly, it also had a reflection for the game itself back on the monitor. So I have dice, just in case we need to use the dice. First one? Alright, fair enough. So, yeah, I have my dice here just in case on my tablet. Virtual dice. I have physical dice too.
Apparently, the Mad Rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble, given time. But he was out of time.
Lapino's frantic message said that the Ravens were going to kill him for being a rebel spy. And that he had a clever plan.
If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse.
Or so Lapino had told him over the far speaker anyway.
So I've been noticing that little icon on the bottom right, the green
Lapino had
icon with...
apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen a winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens?
So I was noticing in the little dialogue there that it was actually giving me an icon in the bottom right corner, a green icon with a white rabbit face.
Ooh, a workbench. Did he have any jewels he hadn't tried out? He had.
And I believe that's a dialogue choice for when you come across truths that you've already encountered. In this case, Lapino is a traitor, so it's telling us Lapino is a traitor. Alright, so let's see. What jewel is it that we just got? We got Elemental Resistance 3. Alright. Forget all that. Let's see. I'll probably be keeping Treasure Hunter over here on for a large part of the game, just to build up all the resources. We're already getting pretty close to not needing that. 5% energy is kind of nice. It's not a huge amount, so that might actually change for critical chance and possibly attack speed in a bit. And I guess that'll be it. I'm gonna go with ultimately shield breaker, attack speed, and critical chance. That's just gonna be me, basically. But not right now. Let's see, I'm actually only a few ores short of level 2 Voidblade, not bad. Hero Sword, Firestorm are both at level 2. Winter Thorn is likewise just about leveled up. I just need a lot more ore. Might probably get those ores by the time I finish one story, even.
A very clever engineer named Elon Muskrat had got his start making floating platforms. Not many people knew that.
That's it. I don't really remember the platform here too much, but as you can actually see, we're skipping a heck of a lot because we had this platform. I'm used to actually just running up the stairs, but
People
no,
were
apparently
frightened
I'm just
these
skipping
days.
through everything.
Just 2 weeks past, Renardo had sneaked through an empty town and listened to the Raven's call about the Emperor's new taste in ritual sacrifice.
Okay, that's apparently not a destructible. I'll
Renardo
come back to
looked
that
around
fire
the empty
store.
village. How had he ever imagined Lupino was anything but a traitor? Any honest rabbit would have fled with the villagers.
Level up. We can spend 1 level up point. Dash through enemies for more damage. Dash through shields. I'm actually going to enjoy that. Let's see. Alright, so I'm actually looking towards that dash through shield, so let's go ahead and get...
Getting better and better.
Yeah, I'm gonna be actually coming back around myself. We skipped, like, almost the whole thing, and I want to come back. You saw the ravens there, I want to go fight them. More experience and stuff. There's a carrot on that table, and apparently the bridge over here is blocked. And apparently the gate is up. That really sucks. Alright, so we're not fighting those ravens this time. Apparently the game is forcing us to take a
It
shortcut.
was time for a little exploration.
Physical resistance, level 3. Alright, so apparently there is only the one way forward. And can't go back, even.
I feel so close to you.
Ravens were landing everywhere. The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack. Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lupino.
Well, unless he really was a traitor, obviously. Then they'd probably pin a medal on his chest. Once, he'd found a Superman issue #1 in mint condition in a jar he'd broken. He planned to keep breaking things until he had the whole series.
And before I go down to that platform, let's go over to the left and... oh, a chest. One of the benefits to this game is definitely the way it handles the graphics, because if you're up here, you have, like, you know, higher ground, but you can see the chest, you can see the different platforms below, so it pretty much renders everything, and it's just a very beautiful game.
Lupino would betray him. But now Renato knew that. What would Lapino do if he knew that Lapino was going to betray him? Well, he'd concoct some crazy scheme, wouldn't he? That used Lapino's betrayal against him, and it would blow up in his face. Yeah. Maybe he was overthinking this. Well, that would be a first.
Alright, so we've got Void Blade, so we can take a look over here. And it looks like there is a scroll and a chest. Dear Zenobia, how are you enjoying the Academy? New friends must already be flocking around you, no doubt. Here in the palace, things are the same. I have much time to dedicate to my special hobby. I have been collaborating with Professor Calaveras and his team of experts to investigate the nature of the islands. My gut is telling me that the islands are alive. I think they have a will of their own. Do you hear me, daughter? Our world could be more than floating masses of rock and water. Professor Calaveras and his boys have made measurements. The islands are drifting, surrounded by endless sky. It is difficult to notice, but through careful measurements of the wind over long periods of time, they are certain the islands are moving westward. But where to? It may take centuries. Millennia to reach the destination. I have this strange idea. What if the islands are some sort of herd, and that they are deliberately searching for another herd of islands? Can you imagine new islands with their own inhabitants? The thought that we may not be alone. If only I could live long enough to witness the event. With love, Father. Yeah, it is absolutely dynamic. At a point, it will stop giving you dialogue because you've actually heard everything, and that's if you keep playing and playing and playing and playing. So if you've played this game 100 times, you're probably going to stop getting dialogue.
The right jewel could really give you an edge. The wrong, well, it still looked pretty, didn't it?
And regarding, hang on, let me just, here we go. I think the last scroll that we got just there was in reference to another scroll that we actually had. I think this one was supposed to be the first, because apparently it was already that, oh hey, yeah, we sent expeditions down below further than any have ever been before and stuff.
Dirty
Hey, Lapino.
and bloody, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renato recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, we see this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia. We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows, and that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who happened to also be a deadly sorcerer, and, oh, his only daughter? That would be worth it. And it would be nice to see her. He'd always had a soft spot for her. And he felt sure she had one for him.
On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power.
Alright, so we have the choice between paying Zenobia a call or getting the Sky Ripper. The core of the Sky Ripper, anyways. Decisions. One? Alright, let's pay Zenobia a
wasn't
call.
just the Emperor's daughter, of course. She'd been Renato's best friend in Sword Fu school. And you're still mad for her, the rabbit reminded him.
The rabbit had a point. and Renata had a feeling she'd want to see him again. Who knows what could happen between the two of them this time around?
She knows all his plans, chuckled the master spy. She won't give them up easily. She'll tell the interrogators, all right, said Lapino. Taking her would change the game, all right.
The city was already under Zenobia's control. I had to admire her efficiency. Renato shivered at the thought of Zenobia at the mercy of the interrogators. Could he really turn her over to them? But this was war. It wasn't meant to be pretty.
Alright, so I'm also just going to pause it here because I also just realized that my title over here-ish, sorry. Oh, let me just put it on camera. You know what? Close enough. I'm pointing roughly over there where it says some game and year. So I'm just going to go over to OBS and change that to Stories, Path of Destinies. And I can't remember what year this was out. 2014? I'll have to do a quick Google here. Uh, 2016, actually. Yeah, I completely forgot about that myself, too. Alright. Oh, look, a chest. Oh, look, a bunch of shiny things. 7 shiny things. And I don't think there was a workbench, so we're just gonna have to hang on to those. Wow, those counterattacks.
Nothing can get your blood pumping like a bit of killing.
That was imperfect because admittedly I was not expecting a counterattack to my counterattack to my counterattack.
What could he craft with the materials he had? Renato had a pretty good idea, actually.
So I do like that over here in particular you can see a bunch of birds flying around there. They're apparently clipping into the background a bit. By the looks of it, it actually is just 2 models with a very slight offset, but it's a nice detail all the same. Hey, Firebird. Not a problem. We have rescued our friend
When Renato
Lupino.
went to the china shop. For some reason, the owner was always nervous.
I would imagine so. So we've rescued Lupino and we're on our way to capture Zenobia now. Alright, so let's take a look at our gems really quick. We now have level 3 physical resistance, and you know, we have level 3 literally everything except for the attack speed and critical. Let's see, I'm partial to the Void Blade myself, so let's upgrade this one.
Now he could slice the wings off a fly in the air. Not that he would. It's sort of mean, really.
It's sort of mean. So let's get our Firestorm. Let's take a look what's behind the red door. The flaming red door.
Renato wondered if his future self had commissioned these poles.
Oh hey, I found critical chance. Let's see, I want to keep that shield break. And how much is the critical chance? 10% to deal double damage. I'll take it. Actually, I should keep the energy for now. Three shiny things.
Why was Lupino urging him to capture Zenobia? Obviously, it was a trap. But you never knew how Lupino thought. Sometimes his plans were so convoluted they did the exact opposite to what Lupino wanted. And there must be some way to play on that, Renato thought. He could sense the jewel's power. He had a feeling they were going to be great friends.
Great friends. I think I would agree. Alright, so we have a choice here. We can go left and continue on the street, or we can go into the sewers. It's probably about the same distance, just a different path. Does anybody have a preference? Left on the streets, down into the sewers?
Renato was making himself dizzy. Fun!
Firebird wants the sewers? Fair enough. Alright, sewers it is. Well, there it is.
Boy, someone has spent a lot of money for a graduation present.
So we already have level 3 critical chance. That's fantastic. Oh, and we've already left. Alright. So skip more than I intended.
So, what's this plan of yours? Use me as bait, said Lupino. And he outlined a slightly complicated plan that involved geese, a net, setting the Farfarer a little bit on fire, Lupino dressing as an old blind toad, and Renato hiding inside a monstrous watermelon.
What could possibly go wrong? Thought Renato.
Oh, well, it looks like that we've got a choice here. So we can go with Lupino's geese, net, fire, toad, watermelon plan, or this is no time for hair-brained schemes. I've never played Resident Evil myself, so I'm afraid I just don't get the reference there myself, Firebird. That's absolutely fair. I have the exact same thing with... Whenever I hear Bloom, whether it's Minecraft or otherwise, I'm thinking of Bloom from Golden Treasure. The geese net watermelon? Fair enough. Alright, let's go with that then. Unless Firebird wants to say something else. The music here is actually reminding me a little bit of Sly Cooper 2. Alright, let's go with the geese net, fire, toad, watermelon.
Ah, this is gonna be fun, said Lapino as he ran to go set up his marvelous plan.
I'm actually curious real quick. Can I get back the way it came? No? Alright. Let's get the void blade. Let's take a look through the void door.
Had that door been opened before?
I love how quick I do just hack them to pieces like that. Dear Zenobia, as you read this letter, you are locked in your chambers ready to spend your last night before... Well, you know, I will not apologize. I think we have actually read this one before. That first sentence actually is just so familiar. So I'll just... Yeah, it's a lot of reading, I just don't feel like it right now. It is in the previous episode. We can absolutely read it next time if everybody wants. Let's open the chest.
This
Wait, what?
jewel
Oh.
was more than sparkly. It had arcane power and an engraving. To Cindy.
Alright, so we've got 4 gems in this one area. So let's see. We have critical 3 for only a 20% chance to deal double damage. For level 3, that's not what I was expecting. You have attack speed level 1, so that our attack speed is increased by 10%. I'm very tempted for that. You know what? Let's cancel that one and put the attack speed here. Nope. Oh, that was my mistake. Oh, I'm taking damage. Admittedly, that first one was because
Renato felt dubious about the whole plan. With every step, he was waiting for it all to go horribly wrong. But against all odds, Pino's idiotic plan worked. Zenobia's ravens ran off after the geese, the net dropped, and Renato jumped out of the watermelon and put his sword to Zenobia's throat.
Renato, she said. Are those new scars? They look good on you. You never return my velvet jacket. It was my favorite. You look stupid in velvet. Ah, what does an imperial princess know about style?
Ah, get a room, you two, said Lapino, probably sensing the chemistry.
But the fleet was coming on fast, so they took Zenobia east, over the Nexus. She'd vanished from Swordfu School, from his life, without even saying goodbye, without ever telling him she was the Emperor's adopted daughter.
Renato was aware of her feelings. Maybe this was a bad idea, but was he letting his own feelings get the better of him?
Alright, so we can now try to turn Zenobia against her father, or stick to the plan. I'm not sure what the original plan actually was. Alright, so fair enough, Doppel, if you want to make yourself some dinner, that's not a problem. And I don't blame you, because this is an absolutely fantastic game. So apparently the only hint and snippets of dialogue we have here is to play the feelings card or not to play it yet. By the looks of the images, though... I don't know, it looks like the second option is to interrogate her. Alright, interrogate.
Ah, Lapina was right, Renato thought reluctantly. She knows things. She recognized his look. You're taking me to the interrogators, aren't you? She said, wide-eyed. And then she jumped, with horror.
Alright.
Renato saw Zenobia plummeting. Then he saw the Nexus below them. Cats always land on their feet. Ah, she'll head for the Imperial outpost, yelled Apino. You have to catch her.
And if you are interested, Doppel, we have only scratched about the surface of this game. It's really fun. There's a lot to explore. Well,
Cats
mechanically,
can
we
run
played a lot.
faster, but foxes can run longer. If he ran, he could head her off before she reached her minions at the outpost. Well, he did love a good chase.
He felt like Tarzan.
Man, having that attack speed is just monstrous. But it's fun. Yay, 5 shiny things. Sure, Void Door, I'll open you.
What's behind door number 2?
Apparently, a platform.
Renato had once invested in a jewel store, but it lost money because someone kept robbing it. Twist, it was him.
He was closing on her. He could smell her fear. He tried not to think about the interrogators at the secret base. What did they do to her? Maybe it didn't have to end that way. Maybe he could talk to her. But, after all, there were worse things the Imperials had done to friends of his.
This thing really needed a roof.
A roof. Oh, I made myself dizzy again. Oh, we don't need a workbench. We should already have that attack speed too. Yep, by 15%. And there's the chest and portal that we had just used. Imperfect, way at the very end.
Renato reached the outpost. The Imperials there were no match for him. Soon after, Zenobia limped up the path. When she realized he was already in front of her, she didn't even try to run. Oh, you left without saying goodbye. Again. He said, please. I'm enjoying this a little too much. She said, shaken. Oh, spare us the chit-chat, would you? Said Lapino as he shackled her hands so she couldn't throw spells. She knows all his plans. All the way back to the Farfarer, Lapino nagged Renato about how the interrogators would pry all the intel out of Zenobia. How that would turn the tides in the imminent battle. All they had to do was take her to the rebels' secret base. Renato didn't like to think about what the interrogators would do to her. Couldn't he just
talk to her.
So it's interesting that for option number 2, it has the exact same image as the previous option number 2, which is probably, as Double said, stick to the plan, trademark. So option number 1 is, this is too cruel, skip the rebel base. But the things the interrogators would do to her, Leonardo could skip the base and find a way to interrogate Zenobia himself. Or, taking her to the rebel base to win the war, the things the interrogators would do to her, the thought made Leonardo shudder, but it was necessary so they would win the war. Yes, he would take Zenobia to the rebels' secret base. Yes, that... stick to the plan. You want to stick to the plan as well, Firebird? Trademark? Keep going too.
As
Alright.
they reached the ruins, Renato could see ravens everywhere, searching for the rebel base. They'd have to hide the Farfarer or go on foot. What if we get separated? Asked Lapino, for once thinking ahead. I'll show you a map to the base. Renato told Lapino. Renato, don't do this, said Zenobia. We were friends once. We... Shut it, witch, or I'll shackle your mouth too, said Lapino. See? Renato thought. There was no way Lapino was working for the Empire. He really hated Zenobia. And then, a few moments later, they touched down.
Why, of course! There's no possible reason he would be working with the Empire. What gave you that idea?
As Lapino pulled Zenobia off the Farfarer, Renato readied himself for the battle ahead. I'm sorry I nicked your jacket, she said. It's just... It's stupid, but... It smelled like you. What? He said, confused. Then... Why didn't you ride? Why didn't you far speak? Oh, save the romantic nostalgia. Let's go! Shrieked Lapino. So Renato launched himself down the path to the secret base. Boom!
Boom! Alright, I see a level up to the left. I don't see a workbench, but we don't have the shiny things to make use of it yet anyways. Let's see, we still only have 2 truths revealed. Alright, let's go with this one
Come in
again.
handy in a pinch.
Oh wow, I didn't realize that's 5 hit points. That one hit from last earlier. Oh no, that. I hooked the wrong target.
I think this is yours, says Renato. But he couldn't hear his enemy's answer.
Well, there's a workbench.
Hey, did you guys ever learn to swing dance? Oh, well, too late. Renato was walking Zenobia to the rebel secret base, where she would be interrogated. So, why was he feeling so scared?
Another level up and another workbench. Let's go down here real quick. Hooray! 6 shiny things! Oh, and we lost an energy.
I'll just have a dash, thought Renato.
Six more shiny things. Ooh, we're getting lots of shiny things. Another 6 shiny things.
It was always a rush.
Attack speed 3 is, so that should be 20% attack speed bonus then, in all. I'm gonna have to actually clear it back real quick here. Sorry about this. Sorry about that. Let's take a look at what the platform here is.
This was definitely better than pulling yourself up in a bucket.
Oh, fire sword. Alright, so it looks like that there's an alternate path down there. Oh, in fact, it should be pointing here. Camera does mirroring and stuff. It's hard to point. Alright, so we just got some health and energy from that. We didn't even get any shiny things. And I think that's because we have all of the gems now. Ooh, we have a chest for some actual shiny things. But only 3.
They caught their breath. It's beautiful, she said, looking at the ruins. This used to be the library of Ubar, he said. Before your father's ravens smashed it. Do we have to talk politics? She asked. That's not how I want to remember you, she said with an odd, wistful look at her face. She was as beautiful as she'd ever been, and as brave. Peppino huffed. They got back on the trail.
Alright, so we're not going through the library's main path this time. We're going to go through the alternate path, and it looks like there's another scroll over up there somewhere. So I just noticed that our elevator is also leaving us behind. Alright, let's see. What does this say? I don't think we've read this one before. Punish, terrorize, humiliate. The masses have been raising their fists, led by a handful of nobles with too much ambition. Is it envy that the power that I seek is something they want for themselves? Or are they just criminals who want to steal from us? There is but one punishment for such a crime: death. Make an example of the leaders. Execute anyone who dares follow them. Or is it fear that the sacrifices I have been making would extend to them? Is this a war for survival? Show them the true meaning of fear. Strike them fast and strike them hard. Make them suffer, burn everything they hold dear. Or is it pride that the meaning of those sacrifices would forever escape their comprehension? They want inclusion, a say in my decision. This arrogance cannot be allowed. Take those who surrender to the salt mine. Let their lungs fill with gross dust. Let them betray one another for scraps of food. Let their children watch as they fall into savagery. End the rebellion without mercy. Punish, terrorize, humiliate. Emperor Insengrim, 3rd War Manifesto.
It was good
Come on,
to practice
hit the
your
vase.
moves, thought Renato. Keeps you limber.
You're getting so close, we're just 30 shiny things away from getting another sword. We collected so many shiny things in this run. In this one world, even. Nice, I blew up the one guy with one bomb with the other bomb guy. Alright, so again, this is the underside of the library, the alternate path from the Gogglers. Oh, well, here we are.
Ha! Bet you never saw that coming.
Alright, so let's just go back over here, and this is the gate where we would have come through with lever, but we can't go back there. And we have just cleared out all the Gogglers that would have been right over here. So again, it's just an alternate path, and the game does this very frequently.
The long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good. Sometimes,
Oh, whoa!
at home, he'd wave his sword around for hours.
I don't think I've ever been stuck in the air like that before. That was fun, though. I'm glad he could fix it by grabbing onto someone. Alright, just before we finish up this map, I saw a nice door over here. That was a lot of energy, and I'm on 20 hit points, and I didn't get any health from that. Unintended features, yes. It was a fun feature, though. I quite enjoyed that one.
As they made their way to the secret rebel base, Renato felt strange. Zenobia was his prisoner, yet somehow she felt more like an old friend. He wanted to tell her all his secrets, but suddenly the ruins lit up with thousands of fireworks. There was a thunderous roar and dust rose. The caves were collapsing. The caves! You've been playing me? Renato said, and he stared at Zenobia.
I'm sorry, she said, and she seemed almost embarrassed. Then, everything went dark.
When Renato came to, he had a terrible headache. Also, Zenobia's sword was at his throat. And her shackles were gone. So was Lapino. The terrible thing is, he said, I really have missed you. Now that we've destroyed the rebellion, would you consider becoming an advisor to the Emperor's daughter?
I'm no one's servant. Everybody serves. Even if it's only destiny. I like to choose my own destinies, he said.
The whole point of a destiny is you can't choose. Oh, never mind, she said. Look, if I see you again, I'll have to kill you.
He watched her ship soar away. He would see her again, he decided. Even if he had to fight his way across the entire fleet.
I really do like the humor.
Was cleaning up the few rebel remnants. For only a moment, he thought about running.
But heroes don't run, even when the world is against them. Even when their cause is hopeless, and their efforts futile, and pointless, and useless, and death painful and guaranteed. He's decided to stop thinking for a while.
Alright, so I'm picking the lower path here, particularly because I want the shiny things, not the red chest, which doesn't give me shiny things. Oh, this one actually gave me health,
You
too.
could use this material to craft a spork. Or a sword. Oh, they really ought to put a railing on this thing, he thought.
Give me the shiny things.
Where did that go to?
Nope, we've got a scroll. Fight, protect, succeed. Never forget that you are fighting for the Empire. What you are fighting for, sorry. The Empire brings peace, prosperity, and stability to the islands. Before my grandfather brought unity, it was each animal for himself. The strong would eat the weak. It was the only law. The rebels would destroy our great empire. They spread lies about justice and equality and pretend that power can be shared. But justice and equality can only be achieved through an iron hand to harshly punish crime until there is no more crime, to control everyone's wealth until there is no more greed, to crush every voice of dissent until there is harmony. These principles are the pillars that I have set for our empire. The alternative is return to barbary. You must fight for your empire. You must fight to protect its values. You are the first and last line of defense against darkness. You cannot fail. Fight, protect, succeed. Emperor Instagram 3, War Manifesto. And I saw that while I was reading this, the fireballs are... Yeah, there's 2 of them, and they're apparently just... Oh, they're coming a little bit onto the boat here. Interesting scroll. Yeah, it is quite interesting, the bits of dialogue every now and then. Just all the little things. And I'm assuming one of these is going to have a hook. Yeah, there it is. My style was acceptable. I suppose I should start putting in some hooks or something into the combat style. Can I ignore it? Here we go. Ignite the torches, or I don't know why.
Asked one raven. Another one called back, "Go, go, dying!" And they both laughed hysterically.
Alright, so that was a great style, but I got hit.
Renaro's arm was sore, his armor wet with raven blood. He was tired of death. But death was not yet tired of him. The rebels were losing. Badly. In some other universe, Renaro thought, he and Zenobia had left Swordfu School together, taken other names and sailed off into the mists. But not this Zenobia. And not him. For him, there was nothing to do but forge ahead. Kill the Emperor and end this. Everybody who wants to die, raise your weapon. All right.
I got hit. You have died. Restart from the checkpoint. Alright, so I was imperfect again, but while I was doing that I actually got a torch lit over there.
Up here.
Nope. Dying. I took a fireball. Yeah, if you ever do die, I think it refills your health and energy to 50%. Last time I was playing this towards endgame, I almost never get hit, so health is just not a problem. Oh, well. So I'm not the best fighter anymore. We win!
At
Now what truth do we learn
he
here?
reached the Emperor's ship. Zenobia was there. Why'd you have to come back? She said, guess I'm just serving my destiny. He shrugged. You don't even know what that word means. She said, do you ever wonder if things have been different all the time? She said, and drew her sword. In the end, Bernardo lay bleeding out on the deck. Zenobia sat by his side, upset. What are you so upset about? He asked. You wouldn't understand. Why didn't you tell me you were going to leave school? I was afraid you'd convince me not to. I guess I'll have to buy you a drink in the halls of the Valiant then, he told her. And then he was gone.
That sounds like Zenobia
Learned
loves
anything
us.
new this time. He'd done the same thing twice, yet expected a different outcome.
Alright, so what kind of hero were we today? Oh, and we've got the ore to upgrade our sword now. A hero who doesn't run, even when the whole world is against him. Alright, I had a feeling that was either a new truth that Lupino would be the traitor, or a truth that, what is it? Zenobia still has feelings for Reynardo. Alright, so let's see. I've been streaming for about an hour. Do you think we can squeeze in
There would be a
another
way to win.
story?
Reynardo could feel it. He'd have to explore choices he'd never made before he could figure it all out, though. And with that, the book's pages fluttered to the beginning once again. And he fell. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert, as tempting as it was to explore ancient mysteries. There was a war going on. And also, his old friend Lupino needed rescuing. Of course, Reynardo had a pretty strong suspicion that Lupino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Reynardo really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
Alright, so once again, we have some choices to make. For the first segment, we have done all three now, but we're still missing two truths. That is, to unlock the final ultimate ending there. So once again, it is up to YouTube, whoever's in the chat there. And don't feel too bad about making the same choices either, because we have, what is this one, story number 24? We've done 4 stories. We've done 1/6 of the entire storyline. We have a lot of choices. We have a lot of fun to have. Three? Alright, let's find the temple.
The island was windswept desert. No one went there except ostriches and ostrich hunters. The Iblis Stone. It sounded ominous. It sounded powerful. If the Emperor was searching for it, it must be dangerous. And so, Reynardo went ostrich hunting. Every child could sing verses about the Sky Ripper, but ancient codices held hints of other things. A stone that ate souls, a ruby that drank blood, a jewel only a righteous man could give away. Were all these things the Iblis Stone? Long hidden in a buried temple? Another ancient item that was only resurfacing now? drawn up from the deeps by the Emperor's horrific rituals? This chest smelled kind of funky. He hoped he didn't get it in his clothes.
Alright, so let's just grab this one chest, and we should have our final sword upgrade. Alright, so Void Blade level 2 greatly increases movement and attack speed, while the Winter Thorn level 2 freezes all surrounding enemies. And for our gems, we have level 3 attack speed. No, we don't actually need any resources anymore, so let's... where's that? Attack speed, energy on kill. We could probably hang on to this one still. In place for critical chance, though. Critical chance seems pretty good.
The air here tasted bitter. The steps were too tall for a person. The entire place felt restless, like it had been vexed to nightmare under the dust, waiting for its hour to come around at last.
Oh, that was a mistake.
The ravens were already here, cawing in frustration. They were still searching for a way in. Good. Then he hadn't come too late.
Alright, so we still don't have that final truth unlocked, but we can now dash through shields, and I'm gonna take it. Actually, before we dash through shields, let's get even more stamina.
That could be useful. No, beat Bernardo at hot potato.
Shiny things. You don't have a use for shiny things anymore, unfortunately. Let's see, let's use our Winter Thorn. This might be an alternate path if I remember the previous time we were
I
here.
wonder what happens if I go that way.
Here's a scroll. Find the stone. Right, this. I remember reading this one. It was literally find the stone, stick it in the box if you find it. If you find anybody who has the stone but it is not in the box, be very careful because he's not paying attention anymore. But absolutely just get the stone and bring it to me in the box. Oh, that was my mistake.
Everybody knew you shouldn't trust a raven further than you could throw one. But did vertical drop count?
Wow, I had a perfect. I was not quite expecting that one.
This chest contained blank passports from 15 countries. And something useful.
Well, I died again.
That done beautifully. Where was a bard when you needed one?
It sounded like
The
a
Ravens
D&D
could not
reference.
get past this point. Obviously, the temple builders knew how to deal with tomb raiders. Imagine getting a horse up in one of these things. It would be cursing a blue streak. It was a stone
Alright, we've got the stone.
of the purest blackness. It reflected no light, like a void made solid. Nervous, he picked it up. Who said that? It was the stone. Eager, thirsty. That seemed tempting and terribly wrong. Zenobia was the Emperor's greatest general and a potent witch. But they had been close once, and Renato wasn't sure he really wanted to be Emperor. Why not capture the core of Skyripper instead? It was the eye of a lost god torn out by the transcendent Emperor to power his greatest weapon. Not the core, said the stone anxiously.
Alright, so with, apparently our 15 blank passports, not suspicious at all, we can now choose between going after Zenobia or going after the core of the Skyripper. The armature, sorry. No, it's the core, sorry. Skyripper core is just without the armature. You can sort of see that with our current choices, we've gone after Zenobia for the stone, but we haven't actually gone for the core of the Skyripper with the stone. Two, since it's new, fair enough.
The stone bothered him. He hated being told what to do. Wasn't that why he joined the rebellion? Wasn't that why he'd refused to be a soldier? He'd agreed to come on board only if he could freelance.
The stone felt a bit clingy. The sage Calaveras had told him where to find the Skyripper, a weapon capable of challenging the gods. Even without its armature, the core would still possess great power.
He would go there. The moment he landed the Farfarer, Renato had a rare feeling of regret. It's not too late, he thought. He could turn around and sail for Zenobia's island. He frowned. Wait a minute. He didn't want to kill Zenobia, did he? Sure, technically she was the enemy, but they'd been at Sword Food School together. They'd never been lovers, but somehow they'd been closer. She'd told him every secret about herself. Except the biggest one. that she was the Emperor's daughter.
Kill Sylvia
Whispered the stone.
before it's too late.
So, I don't know how people would actually trust this set of stairs here, but they're not actually tied or anything, they're just floating. I'm also picking this path because I'm just looking here, and way up here, this is probably the default path, and there is instantly no return if I were to hook over there. This was an ice door, so it's obviously a bonus area. And we have a scroll. Dear Zenobia, the director of the academy has told me how much he was impressed by your academic performance and leadership. Somehow I doubt this was a session of bootlicking. I have seen plenty of those. That old toad is sincere. I'm proud of you, my daughter. You'll make a fine empress one day. On my end, great news. Professor Calaveras has been studying the Nexus, and he has made a bold observation. That toad is a true genius. You know how the islands is that island is unique, constantly changing new crystalline formations, appearing island fragments merging, splitting, slowly drifting, held together by some invisible threads. Professor Calaveras is convinced that those changes are not random, but rather indicative of living nature of the islands. He has observed that certain changes on the Nexus follow, or some precede, a turbulence on another island. Lands like quake, flood, the Nexus seems to resonate with those events. Maybe the islands are a hive mind, and the Nexus is the brain. In any case, I am funding a permanent scientific observatory on the Nexus. It will attract the Empire's greatest minds. With the Professor Calaveras at the helm, I anticipate the great age of enlightenment with the Empire. With love, Father. So we're kind of reading these in almost a perfectly reverse order here, and we do know about the islands, or we've read about it.
There were a lot of shiny, smooth, curved with leather, buckles, and kind of smelled, you know what? Never mind. Yes, there was also ore and other useful stuff. Let's focus on that, shall we?
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
Ooh, fire door.
Maybe I should follow my nose, thought Renato. You almost never saw wild
Oops.
gogglers together like this. The toads had to train them not to peck each other to death. So these had to be imperial gogglers. That meant ravens were up ahead. Hero wall, hero sword, firewall, fire extinguisher.
The stone hadn't lied about what it could do for him. With each raven he cut down, he felt a jolt of power flowing into his arm. "You're weak," whispered the stone. "The call will kill you." "Are you afraid of it?" "No, don't be ridiculous.
chuckled. But it's unstable. It will poison you if so much as carry it. And if you try to use it, it will explode catastrophically.
Reynardo did not trust rocks that talked in his head. He went onwards.
This particular area is fairly vast. I'm having trouble making sure I actually explored everything. By the same token, I don't need to explore. Well, there's a chest I have explored. I don't need to explore because any chest that I find, I don't actually need anymore. Energy for my sword? Sure. Health for me? Whatever. Ores? I don't have any need for any shiny things anymore. LOL, the rock talks in his head. Yes.
Of course there was a puzzle. You couldn't expect the Transcendent Emperor to bury a god's eye in a leather sack where anyone could pick it up.
Oh, that was quite the puzzle. And I don't need to use the altar because I don't have any level up points yet.
Reynardo felt ready to take on new powers.
Well, now I level up and I can't get back to the altar.
As he approached the core, the stone became hysterical.
It's too much power. We'll rip all in space and time.
He had a sudden vision of plunging his gauntlet into the core and dying in anguish. That wasn't his vision, was it? The stone had sent him its darkest fears, hadn't it? He had a sudden impulse to do exactly that. He raised his right fist and plunged it into the core. There was a rush of light. He thought he could hear the stone screaming. And then he passed out.
When Reynardo came to, the core was gone. But the Iblis stone was no longer black, but glowing with a blue light. And it was silent.
I can't hear you, he sang out, and yoo-hoo! It didn't answer. Ha, he said.
He had defeated the demonic gem with the power of his mind. He felt invincible. It was time to attack the Imperial outpost on the Nexus. Take the battle to the enemy. But among the huge crystals, there was also an observatory. A wise man would probably ask the scientists exactly what he had first. How wise was he?
How wise was I? So we have the choice here of, oh, it never hurts to ask for advice. So we can go to the scientists, or we could head over to, well, it's probably the same map and just destroy the enemy ravens. So ask for advice or destroy them all is basically the choice. The choice in a nutshell, that is. Reynardo was able to silence the Iblis stone using the Sky Ripper core, yet the power it gave him was intact. It would be wise to understand what he had done, that scientists at the Nexus would have the answers. Or, what was it about not looking a gift yeah, I can't talk now. What was it about not looking a gift horse in the mouth? Maybe it was time to use this power to destroy the tides. Destroying the enemy outposts on the Nexus would be a great first step. They're also both new choices, if anyone in the chat is wondering. In fact, that too, let's blow something up. Fair enough.
As the Farfarer sailed towards the Nexus, Bernardo wondered if the core had been created to silence the stone, or even to feed its hunger. Honestly, he didn't care. He felt terrific, and he appreciated the quiet inside his head.
I'm pretty sure we're locked into one of the two new choices right now. I'm not going to say which they are, though, just in case.
The Nexus was infested with ravens, but that didn't bother Renato. With each death, the converted Iblis stone in his gauntlets glowed brighter, and he felt stronger.
Wow. He was getting a bit bloodthirsty, wasn't he?
Well, he wasn't worried. He was a warrior. They're supposed to be bloodthirsty.
There was an inscription. Praise the sun.
I can hear the temple's Iblis music playing a little bit. Let's see. Right. I wanted more stamina. The alternative here is to get some more sword magic. I'm going to get that over the extra health when I next get the chance. I think we could just fight through normally, but let's go through here, the bonus spot.
He hadn't noticed that path before.
The core, absorbed in the stone, was doing its job perfectly. Bernardo could feel a little eldritch jolt every time he downed a raven, but then it flowed into the glowing stone the way water flows down a riverbed. It all felt perfectly natural, as if all his life, this was what he had been meant to do. Renato tore through the last remaining guards at the outpost like hot coffee through snow. There was a far speaker toad here. He called the council speaker. He knew she would be thrilled, and she was. She wanted him to come back to base. They had plans to discuss, and a medal to give him. A large, golden medal. Great, said Renato. Let's talk about who else I can kill. Then the far speaker croaked again.
Hello, Renato.
It said,
If you get sick of slaughtering second-rate birds in the Nexus, I'm waiting for you in the mountains.
Zenobia. She missed him. She loved him. Once she saw how awesome he'd become, maybe she'd join him. They'd kiss and... Well, if she did refuse for some reason, He was no match for him now.
Alright, so we have 2 more choices now for Zenobia. Or it's obvious in an ambush, let's go to the base. I like that medal on Reynardo there. Alright, so I'm about to sort of spoil something, so I'm just going to leave it up to chat first. If you want to pick Zenobia or Reynardo. So I'm not actually going to say anything, and the only spoiler that I mentioned is towards unlocking the truths here. 2 is a bad idea, let's do it. Sounds good! It's obviously an ambush.
Zenobia was taunting him. No doubt she hoped to lure him into a trap. Well, he was nobody's sucker. Especially not hers. He carried victory in his gauntlet. He would go where the council pointed him.
Alright, so you should be heading back to the Rebel base map now.
As he set foot on the island, Reynardo felt energized, like when he was hunting or dancing. Then he smelt it. The stench of ravens. It was a good thing he was here too, before they tripped over the secret base. He was really saving the council toad's bacon, so to speak.
Alright, I'm pretty sure I know which truth we're going to unlock right now. No, I don't think I'm going to get that energy fruit thing.
Oh, someone needs a bath.
There's a chance that if we were going with Zenobia, one of the truths we would be unlocking is that Zenobia loves us, and we already know that. There's a chance, a pretty good chance, I'm pretty sure I know which one even, that we're gonna learn a new truth here.
The ravens had reduced Ubar to rubble. Reynardo chuckled at the irony that it was now the secret rebel base.
It barely landed a claw on him.
I am, in fact, not gaining any ores anymore. I think all the essence, all the ores I have, because, well, simply I don't have any use for it anymore, I'm just not getting any more anymore. The only thing I'm getting now is basically just energy and maybe a little bit of health.
Take a leap of faith, said the inscription.
One benefit to the side options here is that I am still fighting enemies, so that is my, I guess, an extra source of experience. And so far it seems to be the main one. By the looks of it, down there, there's a choice open to me on if I want to go in the library or go under the library. Alright, yes, we can...
Renato was a hero of the revolution. He deserved a medal. Soon, he deserved every medal they had, and hopefully one big medal ceremony in front of everybody with trumpets so everyone could know what he'd accomplished. Boy, if looks could kill.
And so for this bit, I did actually quickly roll a dice on which way should I go. Oh, I did not kill him in time. You have died. Oh wow, all the ones from behind me are respawned too. There we go.
The long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good. Oh, now I don't have anyone to talk to.
I don't have anyone to talk to anymore. I just killed them all. Alright, going on to the final map.
Inside the rebel base, Renato was invited to the council speaker's private chambers.
So, this is the Iblis Stone?
He said.
I can feel its power.
Renato told her how he had fed the core to the stone and made something even more useful than either.
Crazy like a fox.
She croaked, and Renato chuckled as if he'd never heard the joke before.
We've given you the best quarters and a bottle of Tantalonian firewater. All for you.
So they'd remembered. He woke in the morning with the sweetest of hangovers. But the Iblis Stone was gone from his gauntlet. The corridors were empty, except for a few rebels who looked just as hungover as him. Come on, you'll miss the battle, they yelled. Renato added sail as the Farfarer scudded across the sky. Who could have taken the Iblis Stone? Was it some Imperial spy? He would find him, and kill him, and take the stone back.
Alright, so there's a possibility that it's a truth I was not expecting. But I'll say no more about the matter.
Renato had a bad taste in his mouth. He was killing ravens, but it wasn't fun. It felt like a chore. Oh, Renato hated chores. As a fox kid, he'd gone hungry rather than clean his room. He still didn't clean his room, he just moved house every few years. Who had the Iblis Stone anyway? Up ahead, he could hear screaming and croaking and cawing. But who was winning?
I bet I know exactly what's going on there.
The portal was heavily guarded. It must go someplace they really didn't want it to go.
I don't need to smash boxes anymore.
There were stickers all over the platform for really hot lady foxes, with pictures and addresses and everything. Or I could go that way, he thought.
Pretty sure I've already read that scroll, so I'm just gonna let it go by for now. Oh, there's the hook. I can't actually reach the hook. I've actually done this one once before. Where I actually do soft lock the game because I can't reach it. The other one, being stuck in the air, was fun though.
Reynardo had a bad taste in his mouth. He was killing ravens, but it wasn't fun. It felt like a chore. Oh, Reynardo hated chores. As a fox kid, he'd gone hungry rather than clean his room. He still didn't clean his room, he just moved house every few years. Who had the Iblastone anyway? Up ahead, he could hear screaming and croaking and cawing. But who was winning?
I think the soft lock
Reynardo
was
had a
because I
feeling
hooked to
that
the
was
ship
back
too
door to
early.
something. But what?
So what happened was the ship that I hooked to stopped moving, but it wasn't actually in place yet where I could get to the other hook. I think the way you can fix that is, well, what I just did is restart the level. I was hoping it would only put me back to the last checkpoint, but whatever. Each map only takes like 20 minutes if you're taking a long time, I guess. So it's not a bad setback, it's
As
just
she ran forward,
whatever.
Reynardo noticed that some ravens were starting to ignore him. Just running away. Who were they running from? Some hero of the revolution? If some other so-called hero of the revolution had the stone and tried to take his victory and his medals, Reynardo was going to be seriously pissed off. He was the hero, not some other bozo.
So I am actually basically
This
already
was
back to where I
much
soft
easier than
locked.
free climbing.
I did just go by another path, admittedly, but I am basically back, already past where I soft locked. Alright, final battle time. And we win.
Finally, Reynardo came to the Emperor's ship. Zenobia lay dead in front of it. The ship was a wreck. Ravens lay dead, sprawled everywhere. Bloody feathers spattered across the deck and the dock. The council speaker came out. She was waving a sword around like a flag. "Look at me, Reynardo!" She croaked. The Iblastone on the sword was black as coal. "Now I will be Empress, and all shall tremble before me," she croaked. So the stone had her. It was in her brain, whining for blood. I'm afraid I can't allow that, said Reynardo, and moved to fight her. Toads are not usually good with swords. Something about the footwork. And the council speaker was not even a warrior. She was always tripping over things, which is quite an impressive achievement when you're a toad. Yet somehow, she was pressing Reynardo backwards as he desperately tried to keep her sword away from his throat. Look, why don't you keep the stone? He asked. You deserve it. Blood and souls for Iblis, she croaked. Blood and souls. She got under his guard with her sword. It was just the tip. But sometimes just the tip is enough. He could feel his soul being sucked into the stone. As he died, he felt embarrassed more than anything else. He should go back to some of the choices he'd faced before. Maybe there were new paths that had opened up, like those doors he was opening up all over the map that took him to new treasures and around his enemies. But he'd learned another true thing. The Iblis Stone was evil. It would try to corrupt anyone who used it.
I like how it did make a reference to how we are opening up back doors and getting all those treasures, which we have been doing. Well, I've been doing, I guess. So, story number 17, for a fistful of ducats. And what kind of a hero was I? A hero who deserves his medal, who will not let anyone steal the hero title. And we get 5 fire essence. Oh no, big oof. The good news is that we earned a new troop. Tier 4 skills unlocked, the Iblis Stone corrupts anyone who uses it. That means that there's only one truth that remains. But seeing as I have been recording for about 2 hours now, I'm gonna have to, well, an extra half an hour for the music and stuff as well. So I'm gonna be calling it here for now, and I hope everyone enjoyed. I certainly did. This is a really fun game. And for reference, this choice was that we found the gem, found the core, attacked the outpost, and then met the council. And, you know, for that last choice, if we instead met with Zenobia, I'm sure that we would be getting another Zenobia has feelings for Reynardo statement. That being said, there is just one last truth to go, and then we'll have absolutely everything unlocked. Well, we'll have the potential to get everything unlocked. Other than that, we have 19 other stories to just go through. Not true, it's just stories, and it'll tell us something about, like, Zenobia, Lupino, more of the Iblis Stone. So I'll be doing this at least next week, and if everyone wants to just call it with just finishing right away, then sure. Otherwise, it is a really fun game to just go through each and every single story. Like, we've got 3 of Zenobia Loves Reynardo, Reynardo Newcomb, The Missing Ingredient, Walking the Cat. All the same, I suppose it's just, again, for next time. And I hope everybody enjoys. See you, everyone!